So good evening, everybody. Today is January the 10th, 2019. And the topic for tonight's podcast is how the secret of unbreakable self-esteem. So the reason why I choose this is because my own self-esteem, it's a journey. Let's say it's been a project for me, and I'm not saying that I have unbreakable self-esteem right now, but I'm saying that I've moved really much further than I have been in the past. So that's why I want to share some of my insights, and maybe if it can help anyone out here, then that would be great. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is really how you feel inside your own body. For me, that is really self-esteem. Some people feel really comfortable with themselves, with their looks, with their accomplishments and all that. And then some people don't. And then some people, they thought that they have great, good self-esteem until you dig a little deeper, and you can see that underneath all that facade is actually just it's really just a facade, that there's not too much behind it, and if you just start poking at them, they will fall over very easily. So that's why I want to suggest a couple of things that's going to help. It has helped me to improve my own self-esteem, and maybe it will help you as well to consider all these. The first thing I want to offer is that what other people say about you has nothing to do with you. So why did I say that? Because it used to be that people would just say the most innocent things, and it would just to me, and it would just make me react. Maybe not that I react and and yell at them or anything like that, but I would just feel there's a certain feeling inside myself. I would feel hurt and all that. So I usually don't show it, but that does not mean I don't feel it. And until I actually really got present and figured out that what people say about me, sometimes to my face, sometimes behind my back, what they say about me really has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. They are the one, when they say something, it's because what I do or how I look or just my presence has triggered something in them. And it may be conscious, or it may be something that is so unconscious that they don't even know. And they would have a certain reaction, and they would just say it in front of my face or to someone else. Does not matter. But when it comes back to my ears, and the first reaction now I have is, oh, what's going on with that person? So I would turn it back and say, and try to figure out what it is that's going on with that person that makes them say that to me, not what's wrong with me. How come somebody would say this thing about me? I turn it back on them, is that I try to understand where they're coming from, and it actually makes me be more compassionate about why they say. Because when I really find out what it is, it could be because they had a bad day, they are tired, maybe, or maybe they have just been beaten up by, not physically beaten up, but maybe emotionally beaten up by someone else, maybe just minutes before they see me. Then because they still have not processed their own emotions. That's why when they see me, they're not actually reacting to who I am or what I say or what I do. They're actually reacting to what's already inside them that they have not processed at that moment. So that's why what other people say about me or about any one of you out there, it has nothing whatsoever to do with you. It has everything to do with the person that is saying it. It has everything to do with their own belief system. It has everything to do with their experience up to the second before they say or think whatever it is that they have projected all their own stuff out onto their environment, and you just happen to be the person that's standing there, so you got the benefit of it. So that's something that you that is really very true. I can give you an example. Is For example, my mom really likes to, whenever she sees me, she would say, oh, okay, she would comment on my looks. So my hair, my could be my hair, could be the clothes I wear, it could be anything. But she likes to pick on my hair. And I think because her own hair is actually, there's not much of it left. It's very thin, and she always tries to brush it back, and she just, for her, it's like, well, this is what I do with my hair. So anyone who does not do the same thing as she do is somehow rubbing her the wrong way. It's just wrong, because the way she thinks that the way she does her hair is the only way, and everyone should emulate her. So that's how she thinks. And it's not just my mom. I'm really picking on my mom, but it's actually not my mom. A lot of people does that. It could be anyone. It could be as something as simple as how you put down how you use your cutlery, for example. Like, that's why etiquette, there are people that has all these made up all these rules about etiquette, what kind of fork to use with what kind of food. It's like, wow, it's crazy. It's actually very simple. You have food, and you either eat with your fingers if you want to, or you eat with some sort of utensils. It does not matter. It doesn't have to be any particular one. Doesn't have to be put in any particular place. But somebody, Mr. or Miss Etiquette, has throughout the ages says that the fork has to be on the right side, the knife has to be on the left side, or the other way around. So they have just created this rule, and they just want to say this is the right way, and it's just something that is made up. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as a wrong way to hold a fork or a right way to hold a fork. It's whatever it is that feels convenient or comfortable to you, and that's all that matters. But we society is so good at thinking that there has to be a certain way that you look, a certain way that you interact with other people, and things like being politically correct. That's also, it has nothing to do with what you say. It has everything to do with people trying to control what you say. So this I would say that this disease about wanting to control how someone else interact with you, how they look at you, how they talk to you, that's really how we that's really all that's about. It's about wanting control. So Everyone is doing that. I'm quite sure that I'm doing that, maybe not every day, maybe not all the time, but sometimes it depends. Sometimes when I'm a little upset, I this is what I want to do. I want to make sure that whenever I go out, people don't push my buttons. That would be nice. However, um, that's not really the best way to go about it. The best way to go about it is to, of course, get to the point where you don't have any buttons anymore and people can try to push, and they can push, 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 but it's just, nothing's coming up. So when you get to that point, then you have unbreakable self-esteem. And the first thing to realize is that what other people say about you has nothing to do with you. People have their own stuff, so they say things, they project onto you. So everything that they say may or may not fit you, but it does not matter, because the motive behind it is not because they try to say something about you. The motive is always that they are trying to project onto you. So if you ever have somebody who beat you down, who insult you emotionally, or physically insult you as well, it has nothing to do with you. It's really where they're at, and you just happen to be in the line of fire when they are in that mood of projecting something that may upset you. So I think you all get the idea of that. And the other thing that I would want to suggest in order to have unbreakable self-esteem is really to realize one thing is is that you are enough. You don't have to have the right house. You don't have to have the right family. You don't have to have the right look. You don't have to have the right hair. You don't have to have the right friends. You don't have to have the right anything. Even if you have none of the above and you don't care, even if you don't do anything for anyone, even if you just sit there like a vegetable, you're not contributing, you are still enough, because you came to this world, and just by being here, you're already contributing your vibration to this wonderful soup of the human collective. So just by being here, you're already enough, because if you're not needed here, you won't make it here. But because you made it here, that means you are needed and you are already enough. Anything else beyond that is just our ego mind trying to compensate on this belief or underlying belief that we're not enough. Um, and if you look a little deeper, is that it's like it's this worthiness. There is this I'm not enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not pretty enough. I am not young enough, or I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not smart enough. These are just ways that the ego mind used to take us down. So when when the ego used all these things to beat us up, so that we have to rely on the ego, so that it's like it's some sort of gaslighting. I don't know whether you understand what I mean by gaslighting. Gaslighting is really you trying to make somebody feel inconsequential in order to dominate over them. So that's really what the ego is doing to us. Is the ego is trying to repeat this, that you're not enough, you're not enough. There's so many ways that your ego mind can come up with that you're not enough, is just ridiculous. So don't listen to it, and really get it in your head, in your mind, in your heart, in your whole body, in your whole neurology, that you are enough. I remember I saw a video by Marissa, I forgot her last name. Marissa Pierce. So she in the video, she kind of told a story. It's about this actor that she worked with once, and she didn't name any names because it's really client privilege information. So this actor, like everybody, does not like to work with him because he's difficult. He's not easy to work with. You have to be very particular. You have to drive, the right kind of car, or dress a certain way, or talk to him and treat him a certain way. And he has to have a certain kind of caliber of food on set. So all these things. So nobody likes to work with him. And so Marissa was paid a big sum of money to go and work with this actor. And the only thing that she did with him, because he's so not easy to work with, but she managed to get him to do one thing, and that is she wrote on all the glass, anywhere, like on the mirror, maybe sometimes on the window, and all that, all around the house, she wrote, "I am enough." And she asked him to reflect on that. Every time she sees it, to reflect on that and really feel that and take it in his body. And so after about a week, no, actually more than that, maybe after about a month, she checked back in with him and already noticed a big difference in how he is interacting with her, a big difference in terms of improvement. And like only about 6 months down the line, not just her, it's not just her that's noticed the difference in the person, who now really takes it in that he's enough. So he does not have to do so many things to convince himself and to try to make it look like that he is enough, because he actually is starting to believe that. So I put it to all of you, is to, every time you think of something, or something that seems to be upsetting you, is to think of that first, is I am enough. No matter what it is that's going on, no matter what it is that you have done or have not done, you are still enough. You are enough. So that is what the second suggestion. And the third one is to take it one notch upper. Is that not just to think that you are enough, but you really realize that you actually create the reality. And the reason why I am enough, just by meditating or just by noticing and taking I am enough in, actually what you're doing on some level is that you're creating your reality. Because your reality when you were young has been created for you by your parents, because they influence you so much. And even if you didn't grow up with a parent, you might have grown up with other adults around you. And because you were small and all the adults around you looks so tall and mighty and seems to have a lot more wisdom and know a lot more thing about you. So when whatever they tell you, you just take it all in without even analyzing it. You couldn't have, because you were not made that way. You were made to, you are like really made to listen to the grown ups around you and how they have lived their life, and you try to imitate them. So the grown ups around you and other people, it could not just your family, but it could be neighbors, it could be teachers, it could be the government, and all these people outside of you has been creating your reality for you. And the key or the secret to unbreakable self-esteem is to start to take back that ability so that you now can create your own reality. You choose to create your own reality the way you want it. And when you start to do that more and more, not just saying you are enough, but the other thing is to, like, for example, abundance. We can create abundance. It's actually not that hard. It's actually much harder to create scarcity. And in order for us to create scarcity, we have to actually have so many things in place in order to simulate scarcity for us. Because by our nature as a piece of the divine of God, we are abundant. We can create everything and anything, but because we've been conditioned from the moment that we come into this planet, to this reality, is that we have other people create it for us, and whatever their beliefs are about abundance, we adopted them. However, that's when you get to the point where you are ready to take back that ability to create your world the way you want it to just create and choose the reality that you want to live in, to not just survive in, but to thrive in, to really be happy and know that you're not conditioned to just feel whichever way. Your nature is actually joy, light, love. Your nature is actually just being like a child, like a kid, being curious and being playful. When you get back to that and really take back that power to create your reality, to not just not just settle for the reality that's imposed on you, and start to realize that you can create your reality, then really you're unbreakable. Your self-esteem is unbreakable because you know that whatever people say to you, it's really them trying to create your world for you, create how you should feel for you. So just say, no thanks. I want to create, I'm taking up that responsibility now. I'm a grown up now. It's okay. I can create that reality myself. And if they want to take you down, then, well, thank you. Just hold up the mirror for them and just, maybe not literally, just know that in your mind that, oh, they're just projecting, and that it's just, you just mirror that they're seeing, and it's really themselves, that everything they're saying to you actually applies to themselves, not to you. Then you can really start to create the world around you the way you want it to, and really stick to your own guns. Really stick to your own inner knowing that this is really what we're made to do. We're made to create reality the way we want it to. We all have this ability. No one is more special than the other. Some people are maybe better at it because they've been doing that a little longer. So it's never too late to start. The real key, the real secret is to just create your reality. Then you can actually take self-esteem out of the question as well. Because if you can create your own reality, self-esteem really, you don't really need it anymore, because you know, your inner knowing know that you're enough, that you have enough and you are enough, and that there's nothing to fear because you're the one that's creating it. So there's nothing to fear. So that's all I have to say about the secret to unbreakable self-esteem.